Hi guys, welcome back to Creative Tap. We're following on from last lesson, where in last lesson we exported an FBX from Nuke, and we're going to import it and set our scene up inside of Maya. So first of all, about Maya, I just want to go to set my project. I've set up the files as I want them, and I'm just going to make sure my project is set to Maya files in lesson 8. Just click set. And now I can go ahead and just start importing what I need to import. So I'm going to go to File and Import. I'm going to go to Nuke Exports, which is in my scenes folder, and face mesh v2.fbx. So if I click import, there we go. I've now got frames 160 to 400, which is the frame range I exported from Nuke. And you can see as I pull through, we've got the moving camera and the face mesh by here, exactly how it was in the 3D space inside of Nuke. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to attach an image plane to this camera. So we want to make sure that we're in the camera view, so go panels, perspective, camera 1. So we're looking through camera 1 now. Okay, so you can see that kind of face mesh move. And what we want to do is view, image plane, import image. And I'm going to navigate to where my footage is. So I'm going to come back up and lesson 8, footage, face footage. And here is my image sequence. So if I click open, we've now got an image sequence, and what I need to do is make sure that use image sequence is ticked. And then what you'll see is it looks as if this mesh is actually moving, but it's actually the camera moving around the mesh. Okay, and yeah, you can see that the footage, the head in the background moves along with it. So you can turn off the grid, and that'll just show you that in a nicer sort of view. So what we want to do is we want to set up a few other things. So I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to make sure that come down to camera settings, that resolution gate is on, and that is giving me a resolution of 960 by 540, but I actually want to turn it to HD because that's what we're working with inside of Nuke. So if I come to my render settings, I'm just going to, when they decide to load, I'm going to change the resolution of my camera to 1920 by 1080. Okay, so here we are, and scroll down, HD, 1080, and you can see 1920 by 1080. Okay, perfect. So what we want to do next is we want to go into vertex mode. So select our mesh. It's very dense at the moment, but we want to go into vertex mode, and with soft select turned on, so hit B to turn soft select on, you can select a little bit of your mesh, and you can basically start pushing and pulling it. I haven't got soft select turned on. So soft select turned on, and yeah, you can basically start pulling different bits of your mesh just to kind of start lining it up. Let me just save, just to start lining it up. So if we come to here, we can see there's a little bit by there that should be sticking further out for the eyebrow. If you want to get more zoomed in, don't do that with a scroll wheel. What you want to do is go view and select camera, and just scroll down to, where is it, display options, and increase your overscan. So turn this to 0.8, for example. No, sorry, the other way. So turn this to 0.8, 0.8, and it'll just push in a little bit. And then turn on pan and zoom, and you can just maybe plus 0.2. No, that's the X, sorry. So over here, 0.05. And it'll just push it up a bit. And what you can do is just start selecting a little bit of the mesh by here. So vertex mode, select, and then you just want to pull it out slightly. And again, you can just use in soft select, so you can soft select little bits. Again, the chin should probably come out a bit by here, and you soft select to select more of an area and grab more of it. So it's just rough at the moment, but as we come through, for example, the nose should probably be, yeah, it's not out enough there, so just select one at the end, make sure you've got soft selection on, so just selecting that nose bit and pull it forward. Maybe selected a bit too much of it then, so just bring it down, and yeah, just bring this nose out, and also the bridge of the nose needs to come out a little bit by there. Bring up soft select just to bring it all out a bit, and this eyebrow just like so. And basically this is how we're going to match it up. We're going to do a couple different passes with a couple different techniques, so don't worry about getting it absolutely pixel perfect the first time around, because quite frankly you're not going to. So just make sure that this comes down a little bit. Yeah, and just keep on scrolling through. I can see the ear there is way off, so I'm just going to, I know that that's kind of too far out a little bit, because I can tell that my ears are not that big. So I'm just going to match it up just like so. To be honest, my ears are still quite big, not going to lie. Yeah, you just want to work your way through and keep on doing that, okay? Just look at where it's not lining up, using the soft select. My ear looks really big on this side as well. Yeah, I just want to bring it in. And yeah, keep on doing that. So I'm going to pause mine as I do this. I'm probably going to spend about 10-15 minutes working my way through the footage, just kind of pulling and dragging little bits out. What you can do as well is pop out into the perspective view to have a quick little look. So come back to object mode, have a quick little look at the actual shape just to make sure you're not ruining the shape completely. And yeah, keep popping out and then come back into camera view, and again remember, view, select camera, and you can pan just using these rather than your tools inside here. Okay, so I'll pause mine while I do it for about 10-15 minutes or whatever until I get it looking a bit better, and then I'll show you the next stage. Right, so I've completed mine. I say completed, I've done 10 minutes or so of it. And it's by no means perfect. You can see this ear is an area I was having trouble with. But to be honest, I'm not concerned about the ear. I don't mind if I don't get the ears. It's mainly the face. And, you know, as we skim through, there'll probably be other areas which aren't matching up perfectly. But that's fine, because what we're about to do is we're about to smooth the mesh and retopologize it anyway. Another pointer, I have my perspective view open here, so if I were to like have trouble, for example, selecting a vertex right on the edge, I can kind of look in this view where that is, and also it's easier to see my soft select in this view. So I was working with both views, so that's always, you know, a good thing to do. So anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to actually smooth this mesh. So if you come up to Mesh Tools and Sculpting Tools and pick the Smooth tool, it may well give you an error. Let's see if it does with me. Oh no, I can just start smoothing mine. If it gives you an error, it may say something about I can't remember the wording. Can't use tools on non-manifold geometry. If that's you, just go to Mesh and Clean Up. Okay, open this and make sure Laminar Faces and non-manifold geometry is ticked, and then just click Clean Up, and it'll just clean up your mesh, just get rid of any anomalies that it doesn't like. Okay, anyway, once you've done that and you've got the mesh tools, what you want to do is you just want to start smoothing out this mesh, okay, just to kind of get it, you know, well, nice and smooth. That's why we're smoothing it. So yeah, just want to come in like this, make it all nice and smooth. We want to be careful over the nose, because again, you want to smooth the nose, but you don't want to like smooth it too much to the point where you lose the actual resolution, like you lose where it goes in. Same with the eyes, you don't want them to kind of almost flatten out. You want a little bit of an indent in there, so you know where the eyebrow bone, I don't actually know what that's called. I used to, I can't remember since I started doing this tutorial. But yeah, you just want to come in and you just want to start smoothing down this surface, because what we're going to do then is we're going to do another pass possibly, or let's see where we are actually. Yeah, I'll just pause it as I smooth mine. Okay, so I've got my smooth mesh now, and what you can actually do is you can come in, let's just deselect that and go to vertex mode, and you can basically come in and you can give this now another pass. So for example, let's just click off back into object mode. You can see a little bit of my head coming through there. So if you select some of the vertexes in that area, say these vertexes, but here you can also do another pass whereby we just start lining this up a little bit more. And don't worry, you don't have to. I just thought because you smoothed it, it would be kind of nice just to do a quick another pass. But don't worry, you can move on to the next step if you so wish. But I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes now just re-going through this just to make sure it all lines up properly. Okay, like that, where that nose comes in there, I know automatically before even looking at a side view that this needs to come in a bit, so something like that. Yeah, something along those lines. So I'm going to spend 5 or 10 minutes just kind of doing this a little bit more. Okay, so I've got to the point where I'm relatively happy so far, and what I want to do is I want to come back to object mode, and I want to actually retopologize this now, okay? I do want to say I'm not happy by how big my nose seems to be. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this mesh and I'm going to click up here to make the selected object live, okay? So you can't now select that object. What we want to do is I'm going to come into camera view to do this. So I'm just going to hit spacebar within here, and I may zoom in by coming down to my overscan. So I need to select camera, coming down to my camera shape, and overscan. I'm going to change that to 0.6 and maybe even, tell you what, 0.5, and I'm going to move up a little bit. So let's go 0.8 or 0.9. Okay, cool. I'm going to turn this to half transparency, this mesh, just so I can see the face. Okay, and should I turn it to half transparency? No, I'll turn it off for now. What I want to do is I want to select in my modeling tools on the right, I want to select quad draw, and I think I will turn it to 50% now, because what I want to do is I want to start drawing in my quads, okay? So I'm just going to go around like so and hold space between these, and now I have my first quad. And if you know anything about edge flow, that'll kind of be useful. Again, if you're not a modeler, you may want to kind of read up about what this tool is, but basically I'm drawing, if I come out, I'm drawing these quads around the eye, okay, and I'm drawing on this actual surface, okay. Let me just find a little example for you. So I found an example, basically a 3D mesh of a face. Essentially, you want to draw these sort of squares, they're called quads, around the eye, and then they come out, and you can see how the edges flow around certain aspects, like the edges flow around that nose, and they flow around the lips, and they flow around the eyes, okay? So essentially, what you're doing, and we're not going to draw that many, by the way, what you're doing is we're coming into here, and we're drawing these quads in, okay? These little squares. Nearly forgot what they were called then. And so if I just keep on coming round, you can basically click and drag and also shift to kind of relax them, just to make them take a better shape. And we're basically going to kind of draw around this eye, like so, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do mine, but I'm going to speed it up, because you can then sort of pause. I won't skip it, but you can pause and see where I'm drawing my actual quads when I do this, okay? I'm only going to do half the face, because then we can duplicate it and pull it on over for the other half, okay? So I'm going to fast forward as I go through it. Okay, so I've finished retopologizing the mesh. So you can see that's drawn on the actual mesh. It's going to be low poly, but that's fine. That's all we need, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this dense mesh in the background. First of all, I need to turn it off from being a live surface. And then I'm going to select this dense mesh in the background, and I'm going to hit Control and H, and that's going to hide it. Okay, so we just want to hide that for the minute. And what we want to do now is let's just make sure one of them is the camera view. Yeah, what we want to do now is I'm going to bring my camera back out, actually. So select camera, and it's just that overscan thing that we did earlier. So I'm going to turn overscan to 1, maybe 0.8, and I'm going to 0 this out. Okay, maybe go 1.7 just so we can see a bit better. Yeah, okay. I'm going to select my geometry. I'm going to turn it off the transparency at the moment, if I can find where that is. I can't see it at the moment, don't worry about it. If I come into full view here, there we go. Right, so yeah, so what I want to do now is I want to duplicate the mesh. So Control D, duplicate the mesh. So I've got polysurface 1 and 2. With polysurface 2, what I want to do is just come into the X scale, and I want to go -1. So we've got that by there. Not matching up perfectly, it's not going to, but so don't worry about that. What I want to do now is I actually want to merge these edges together. So I'm going to get the edge, turn soft select off. I'm going to get the edges down here. Actually, sorry, first of all, what I want to do is I want to combine these. So select them both, go mesh and combine. So they are now the same mesh when you select them. And now I want to get these edges here and just shift select the edges all the way down here so that we can actually merge these together so they are actually the same mesh. Okay, so something like that. Just make sure you've got them all. Okay, cool, so we're ready to stitch them together. What you want to do is get the scale tool, and you want to scale in sideways like that until they both meet in the middle. Okay, and then you want to go to vertex mode, come down the middle, so select all of them down the middle like so. So you want to go to mesh, and then you want to come down to, sorry, edit mesh, and then you want to go to merge, and it's now going to merge those vertices. Final thing we want to do before we do anything else is select it and go File, Delete All by Type. Where's that now? No, Edit, sorry, Delete All by Type and History. So you've deleted the history. Now the next thing you want to do is, much like we did before, you want to come in to vertex mode with the soft select again, and we're pretty confident that this side's matching up at the moment, but with the soft select, to turn B on, you want to just start pulling this so it matches all up. Okay, so let's just turn transparency on. Let's come into this view and go view, select camera, just turn on the overscan to like 1.3, no, the other way, sorry, let's turn it to like 0.4, something like that, and then just go 8 in here, or maybe 1 like that. Okay, and what you want to do, like I said, is just get these vertexes and just start with the soft select, just start moving them into place. And it may actually make sense to do it in this view, so you can go in and out and across and everything. So just start going like so, moving these. So I'm going to select all of the eye dots like that, and I'm going to move the eye over and just down a little bit, and then move some of these dots, or vertex I should say, across just to line up with the eye like so. Okay, so something like that, and then just make sure that this brow coming down by here, so is going to line up properly as well. So just select that brow and move it across and up a little bit. This bit of the nose, you could probably select this bit of the nose by here, move that across slightly, and yeah, see, just make sure, keep on looking from here as well to make sure that it is matching up and you're not deforming too much of it. But there, you can kind of scrub through and just do that throughout. Just have a look and see if it's not lining up. Like here, for example, that ain't lining up, so that's a problem for me. So I'm going to look at this point, and I know that this now probably, does it need to go out or does it need to come forward? It's hard to tell. I'm going to say it needs to probably come, let's have a look a bit above, probably needs to come forward a bit, I'd say. You know, it's trial and error, to be honest, but yeah, probably going to come forward. Maybe select this point down here as well, so shift select this one just to bring them both forward at the same. Okay, and maybe just a touch down a bit. Yeah, something like that. So I'm going to work my way through, selecting points up here as well on this forehead to bring this out. Okay, so just make it a little bit wider, and yeah, bring this out so it matches up. And just keep on working through doing that and you will get it. Okay, so now that I've got mine pretty much matched up, let's just have a look in the camera. It could be better. There are some areas, I think, by here, look, the eyebrow could be a little bit better matched. But there's another technique I'm going to use to help us now. So this is the last technique to help us, but it's a really good one. So what I need to do is assign new material, and I'm going to pick a Lambert, okay? I'm going to come to the texture, the color input. I'm going to right click file and I'm going to click create as projection, okay? Projection type, set that to perspective, and link to camera, we want camera shape 1, and then if I go to image, I'm going to select my footage and face footage, there you go, select that and turn our texture on. And what you may need to do is tick use image sequence, and also you may need to do this, come back into here, and where it says fit fill, go to horizontal. Okay, so you may be kind of wondering, well, what's happening? Well, if I turn my, first of all, let's turn my image plane off. So camera, image plane, let's just turn that to none. What's actually happening is we're actually projecting our footage onto the the mesh. There you go. So we're projecting it onto the mesh, and the reason this is helpful, can you see that little bit of white there? That is actually, if I turn RGB back on, that's actually this part by here, this wooden part getting projected onto the mesh. So if we turn image plane off, we know that has to be pushed in slightly. So where the white starts leaking over on the sides, like by here, you know, by there, we know we need to push that in a bit, okay? So that's why it's helpful. So moving forward, I'm going to come into my material attributes. The ambient color, I'm going to push all the way up, and the diffuse, I'm going to push all the way down, okay? And that'll give us a better view, all right? So in order to do this, I'm going to select my object, select the mesh, I'm going to go mesh, and I am going to smooth my mesh, wherever smooth is. Is it edit mesh? Smooth, yeah, smooth, there it is. So I'm going to smooth it just by a factor of 1 and hit enter. There you go, so we've got my object. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the grab sculpting tool to kind of to sort this out, because you can see, let's go to a good area. Yeah, you can see here the edge is leaking in. So I'm going to go to my modeling tools, and where is grab? Tell you what, if I can't see it in here, soft selection, no, it is going to be mesh tools, sculpting tools, and grab, so control and 4. I'm going to also open up my perspective view, so I'm going to have layouts, 2 panels side by side, and this one is going to be my perspective. Okay, so you can actually see in this view, it's actually interesting, this is what it looks like. Because remember, this isn't actually turning, the camera's going around it and we're projecting onto it as well. So it is a little bit wacky. But like I said, let's focus on this view in the camera, and let's look for those areas where it's kind of seeping over. So here, okay, and we can go view, select camera, and just turn the overscan up again, and it is display options, overscan, let's go 0.4, and let's just pan up a little bit. So, oh no, too much. 8, yeah, there you go. So what we can do is, using this now, we can actually use both views. You can see that's the area that's playing up. That's where we can see it. So I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to push it in just a touch. Okay, and that is going to help. There you go. And same down here. I can do it from this view if you wanted to. You can just, it's a little bit harder, but you just grab on, and I know it's easier to do it from this view, so I'll just do it like that. Okay, and yeah, that's what we're going to do then moving forward throughout. Just push that in a touch, And yeah, just move through your footage and until you see those white bits. Okay, so I'll find just another one. There you go, we got a bit here, so you can see a little bit of white there, a little bit of white there, and it's easier to see in this view. So I'll just push in with this grab tool and push that little bit in like so, and it's matching up there. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pause it while I do mine, and then once I've done, I'll unpause. Okay, so I'm really happy with mine now. I've gone through and there's no bits kind of overlapping anymore, so I'm really happy with mine. It's exactly how I want it. So now that we've done that, there's one thing left that we've got to do. We've got to give them some nice UVs, and then we've got to move our pivot point to the origin and export an FBX and an OBJ. Okay, so that's good news. What you can do is you can turn your image plane back on, turn the texture off so your mesh is just a wireframe, and just do one last check, skimming through if it's matching up. But I'm comfortable that mine is. Okay, so that's great. I'm going to turn my texture off, however, and I'm just gonna, yeah, so if I just select my mesh now, so I'm going to select the mesh, go to UV and click camera based, but actually let's go into perspective and no, sorry, camera. Yeah, let's go into camera and let's do it from here. So right, yeah, UV camera based, and then go into the UV editor. Okay, and this is our UV. We then want to select it and we want to go to unfold. So we're going to unfold our UV and just make sure we move it. Let's move it across. So UV shell, select the shell and hit W and just move it in, scale it down and something like that. I want to give it a little bit of an edge, just a little bit of space on the edge. Okay, and great, so that is now nicely UV'd, so close out of that. And the final thing we want to do is we want to get our pivot point. We want to take this now to the origin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit insert with and I'm going to hold X so my pivot point snaps, and just snap it to the origin. So that's all set up for when we go back into Nuke. So finally what we want to do is select our mesh. So let's just go object mode, select the mesh, file, export selection, and actually click cancel, so I do that again, file, export selection, and click the option box. I'm going to do an OBJ and an FBX. I'm probably just only going to need the OBJ though. So if I go export selection, OBJ, yeah, cool. And Maya exports, and I'm going to call it face mesh v2, just because I've already got one in there. Click export selection. Great. Now file, export selection. Sometimes Nuke has a problem with OBJ, so I'm just going to do FBX as well. FBX, export selection, and face underscore mesh underscore v2, and click export selection. And it'll give you this little warning, but don't worry about that. Just click close. And what you can do now is jump back into Nuke. So that'll be the next session I do with you. We'll jump into Nuke and I'll show you how to set up some projection stuff there and how we can actually put whatever texture now we want on our face.